Hello, everyone. Welcome to Strange Stuff Podcast. I'm Andy,
And I'm Mark. Morning.
and someone's just rung your bell.
I know. I might have to break off. I literally might have to break off this morning because Is
Is she ready to pop?
Yep.
Let's hope she doesn't do it live. Well, in fact, let's hope she does it live. You can take your microphone with you, and we can all listen to the birth.
Well, you have to drive an hour and a half to get to the
Oh, of
hospital.
course, yeah, because they closed the baby unit in your local hospital.
Yeah.
That was clever.
I mean, she's there. She was there at 3:00 this morning, but
So
yeah,
is she having the contractions?
Sort of, yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's all going well, I hope. There's no complications or anything.
Yeah, there are little complications, so we'll see what happens. It's the same as last time. I think I mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago she wasn't very well.
Yeah.
But this time, the little one is only a week and a half early, so that's regarded as normal. So they will. He's being born today, regardless.
Okay. So they're inducing.
Yes, exactly. They're trying to.
So it's not cesarean.
Why is that going to be a joke?
No, but have you seen my title?
Caesar. I wonder where the word cesarean comes from.
Actually, it comes from Julius Ceaser.
No.
One of the atrocities he used to carry out was taking the children from pregnant women.
I didn't remember Caesar being an atrocious monster.
Well, funny enough, I mean, the clue is there, but we are going to talk about Julius Caesar today.
All right. So that's
And,
that's.
I have done a little bit of research.
You have
Yeah,
you?
I've done a little bit of research.
Oh, well, that'll be interesting.
You know what's happened to me this week, so I really haven't been in research mode. It's been a very eventful week.
So you're just sort of treading water.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, I'm on vacation as well, so I'm literally hands off. I'm getting third and fourth hand news about what's going on.
You'd booked this week as a vacation week, had you?
Yeah, and next week I'm starting on Tuesday and finishing Friday, and then I've got another week off. Because I had holiday time that was unused, and I have to use it or lose it. I mean, I could have got paid for it, but I'm glad now that I booked it, because who knows if I'm going to get paid at all.
No, well, in fact, I'm confident you are, because the Verwalter. What is Verwalter in English? Is it administrator?
It's kind of administrator. I do know the word. It's not really administrator. It's a special word for the person who oversees a bankruptcy.
Konkursverwalter. I thought that's what it was.
It's not administrator.
Well, in England, it's liquidator.
We are. I mean, yes, liquidator would be the word, and it is. I mean, we are in administration.
I know.
Which basically means we have an administrator who makes all the decisions.
And do you even know? Have they named him?
Yeah, I've not spoken to him, but he's spoken to me via one of our all hands, which they are having on a. Do you know? I'd like to punch them mostly in the face, all of them. The propaganda that they push is fucking unreal. When they told everybody that we'd gone into administration, they had the all hands, and they stood up there and they focused mostly on how proud we should be of what we've achieved. Not the fact that they're sending people out into the world with no work visas and fucking homeless and all the rest of it, but how proud we are of everybody. And you should be proud. Fuck off. Pay my wages, bitch.
Well, the thing is that the trick these days at the moment is for the liquidator to show that there's some value left in the company to try
Well,
and talk Scandia to buying it.
the only value in the company is the people, because everything in that company is leased.
Oh, is it?
Everything. All our machines, they are leased. Our workshop does not exist without a lease agreement.
I mean, I have a feeling that that's probably not that unusual these days. But, did you know the figure that Scandia was due to pay before it actually went into liquidation?
No idea.
$6 million.
That's too much.
Well, no, hang on. $6 million, but then they would take on board all of the debt.
Yes, that's no, but that's why they waited for the liquidation, because then the debt is cancelled.
Well,
And you get a fire sale price. But
you can't get much more fire sale than $6 million for a company that employs 3,500 people.
Yeah, but you're taking on 3,500 wages.
No, of course, no, I understand, absolutely. So you're absolutely right. What they've done is not eliminate, but they've certainly diluted the amount of debt that they're going to have to take on board. It will be interesting to see what the creditors say. As you say, all of the machine leasing companies, what are they going to do? Are they going to come and collect the machines?
I mean, it would cost them more than they're worth.
Exactly. So
the transport of one of those machines from country to country is ridiculous.
I don't know who the biggest creditors of the company are. Is one of the big banks behind it, or are all of the banks behind it?
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, the biggest shareholder was Peter Carlson. He was closely followed. I did have a list of the top 10 investors, but I can't recall.
What, Peter Carlson? What, the ex-MD, VD?
Yeah, he was the biggest shareholder. I think he was like 40%.
No.
Yes.
Oh, my God. So when the reporter asked him if he's taken out 200 million, he's done his nuts on the shareholding.
No, what he actually said to that reporter was, "What a stupid question."
Yeah.
That's all he said. And he was treating him with contempt, and the reporter chose to interpret that as a smug fucking answer. But he didn't answer the question. He should have possibly answered it and said, "Fucking don't be ridiculous."
I didn't realise he was the biggest shareholder. I wonder.
Yeah, it was his company. He started the whole thing.
But I wonder, was he wealthy before he started it? Has he actually lost any money?
Yes, of course. He used to work with Elon Musk, didn't he, at Tesla?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was one of Musk's bros.
Oh, I didn't realise that. So he might have actually put real money into the company.
He did put real money into it. It was his baby, He really wanted it to succeed. It wasn't obviously it wasn't for profit, because there is no profit. And there isn't for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So it was a labour of love for him.
Not anymore.
I sort of feel sorry for him, but I also think he was a complete tosser for hanging on so long. He should have really stepped aside 3 years ago and let somebody take over who could actually focus on the direction we were supposed to be moving in. Because funnily enough, over the last 6 months, I feel that we've actually made progress in the company. We've actually done some good work.
You mean more lorries are leaving the factory, which is the ultimate measure.
And we focused on our prime objective, which was to make fucking batteries.
Yeah.
Instead of like, let's research this and let's start this and let's build that. It was like we focused on getting the place running like a factory.
Yeah.
And it was, we did some really good work in the workshop, especially. We've solved a lot of production problems simply because we had to.
Yeah.
And we could have solved a lot more.
Well, that's the problem. You keep coming up against it. We've said it so many times in the past that a lot of people who are fantastic ideas people, the skill set required for that is literally the opposite of the skill set required to run a business. That's
Yeah.
why Elon Musk, he dreamt up Tesla. He should have let go of it, 10 years or 5 years ago when he dreamt up the idea. Same as
Yeah, but
SpaceX.
he's a narcissist. He can't take himself away from number one position in anything. That's why he's the president of the United States now.
Well, no, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. But he shouldn't be. And what I never understand is...
Well, to be fair, if it was a choice between Musk or Trump, it's 50-50.
Actually, I think I'd prefer Trump. The what do you call it? When people say all the time, when they interview these MAGA supporters, that we need to run the country more like a company. What the fuck are they talking about?
That's the last thing you want to do.
Companies are in business to provide dividends to their shareholders.
Yeah, and at the moment there's only 2 shareholders.
Exactly, and they squeeze the workers until they bleed. I don't understand how anybody can be so stupid to even say things. We need to run this country more like a business.
They're worshipping at the feet of the wrong idols.
It's just amazing. Anyway, I mean, fingers crossed, Andy. I mean, obviously all the talk in the media is going to be positive because it has to be positive. It's a matter of whether VW feel like stumping up the money.
Yeah, it's a big investment for anybody. But on the other hand, that for that $2 million, whatever it's going to cost now, they will get like 5 years of progress towards a working factory. Plus, I mean, it's built, it's ready. It's a work in progress, but it's almost finished.
I don't know what position VW are in at the moment because, of course, they were paying off billions in fines with the diesel scandal, but that was a few years ago now. They might go on the up
a billion doesn't mean anything these days.
Well, no, but the other thing is they've done their nads on the electric cars as well, which everybody is moving away from.
Yeah, but that can be turned around. If governments would stop fucking penalising people, and if electricity companies were just taken out of the equation. I mean, it's time to like nationalise everything electric.
Mm.
You can't just keep fucking these pirates. England is actually the most expensive country in the world now
for electricity. Yeah. Oh, why?
No reason.
No. But that's the point.
Reason.
But you hear? I told you. We talked about it last week. That fellow, the deputy head of the Reform Party, saying it was all due to net zero. Bollocks! Has it got anything to do with net zero? It's profiteering.
Yeah. It's propaganda. It's all down to the shareholders of the French company that provide most of the electricity for England.
Well, actually, it's not technically the share because it's owned by the government. They literally use electricity consumers in the UK
to
subsidise electricity users in France.
Yeah, so they get the cheapest.
What is the matter? It's just insane how that could have come to be.
The world we live in. Profit.
Thank you for that. You French bastards.
Yes, you Gallic motherfuckers.
Anyway, so yes, but other than that, obviously that's the big news for you. There's not too much that's going on in the world other than madness.
Oh, I had my final lunch with Teresa.
Oh yes, that must have been. But did you shed a tear, Andy?
I came very close. I mean, when we parted ways yesterday, she was crying in the car, mostly because I wouldn't unlock the doors or take her blindfold off.
Say, you wouldn't let go of her neck at the time.
That was quite emotional. I mean, I haven't felt like I was going to miss someone for many, many years, but I'm really going to miss her.
Yeah.
She's been a real godsend to me.
Where has she moved to? Norway?
Norway, yeah.
How far away?
Oh, I'm not going to go there.
No.
It's a 14-hour drive, I guess.
Oslo. Oh, my God. So it's southern Norway?
Oslo.
Oh, I see. Well, no, that's not 14 hours. It's the same as here.
No, it's a longer drive. I know because she's done it. She went on holiday there last year on the motorbike with boyfriend. So
Oh, well, that's interesting because you know that
14
Oslo
hours.
is the same distance from here as Stockholm. It takes 3 hours to get to Oslo, or 3 hours to get to. Well, it's actually 3.5.
Yeah, so it's 9 hours from here to Mora, plus 3 would be 12 hours.
Oh, I see. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
So 12, okay, 12 hours. But the way I drive,
Yeah.
the turnings I
Carefully.
miss.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
You should have turned left there. Should I? Why didn't you tell me? You're driving.
Why, you have a screechy voice in your GPS machine, do you? Your navigation
It's
program.
usually Hannah. You know you should have turned left there.
That is if, when the navigator says, you should have turned left 20
Yeah, I
miles
know.
back.
What's the point of telling me that now?
Exactly.
Why don't you just fucking preempt my ignorance and say, don't forget to turn left up here?
I can't recall, but I have a feeling Suzanne, my ex, was not a good navigator, and that was literally the sort of thing that used to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm making that up, I don't know.
No, you're probably right. Because I always remember people who should have told me earlier.
Yeah.
What's the point in just confirming my knowledge that I've probably missed my turning?
Yeah.
I mean, I drive past my own turning now outside my house.
Do you? That's
Yeah,
not a good sign, Andy.
No, but the last time I did it, it wasn't really my fault. Because, they
Of
were
course
doing
not.
these roadworks and they basically blocked off half the road outside. So it was down to one lane and they put these temporary traffic lights up either side. And my access road was right in the middle of these traffic lights. So that was my marker. Once I got to the temporary traffic lights,
You knew.
I crossed the light and turned left. And then I was home because it's very dark here, without a marker.
Without street lighting.
It's quite easy to miss your turning.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to work on the afternoon shift one day and this was another thing. Because there's temporary traffic lights either side of my road, I don't know which one is green.
Oh, really? You're coming out in between the two?
Yes. So I could literally turn into oncoming
traffic. Yeah. Good.
So I managed to survive that. But so I went to work. And when I came home, motherfuckers had removed the traffic lights and I just drove straight past. And I was at least 3 kilometres down the road before I thought,
what?
This is strange.
Bloody hell, Andy. You need some medication for your brain activity. Or
no, but you know what it's like. You drive the same route. You don't even look where you're going. You know where you're going.
Funnily enough, I do look most of the time.
Yeah.
Actually,
Never.
Yes.
I've always found that impeded my driving skills.
Yes, looking where you're going.
Looking where you are and where you're going.
Oh, hang on. I've just noticed my name is Brutus. Was Brutus a good one or a bad one? He was the one
who
that
slipped
actually
the knife between the ribs.
Knife in. Yes, exactly. Oh, dear. Oh, yeah. So that's that, and we'll see what happens this week. It's going to move pretty quickly, I think, with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we've got this government guarantee about our wages until the administration is finished and decided, but I think it's the biggest one that's ever happened in Sweden.
Oh, it is. It's the biggest insolvency in Swedish history. But, sorry, the government step in. It's not the union that steps in to pay your wages. The government has guaranteed.
It's a government guarantee.
Oh, right. So the government have guaranteed, but it's probably the union who actually pays, or the administrator.
I don't know, because not everybody is in the union,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not.
Aren't you?
No. I used to be in the union, but they fucked me over.
Yeah.
They charge here. It's not like in England, you pay like £5 a month or something to be in the union. Here, they charge you a percentage of your wages.
I know, and I remember you were saying that not only a percentage of your wages, but a percentage of your overtime wages as well.
That's when I decided that I was not for the socialist comrades.
Yeah.
I worked a Saturday and my union thing went up like by 100 crowns.
Yeah.
And I said to the union rep, what the fuck is this? I work on a Saturday and you get money off me. Why? And he said, solidarity. I said, yeah. Where were you when I was here Saturday working my fucking arse off? How solid were you cunt? Get me out of this fucking union. And do you know what? those cheeky fuckers think they're like a rental company. They have a 3-month uppsägning period.
the
Fucking
union.
3 months to resign from the union. They just squeeze out this country. Every fucking step of the way is like, give us more money. Give us more money. Every fucking turning. There's nothing in this country that is like for the people. It's all about the cash. Sorry, Sweden,
God.
but you're a fucking bunch of cunts.
It's lucky you don't live in the UK or America. Can you imagine what it would be like for you to live in America,
Oh,
where it's
man.
even worse?
They would chase. There would be crosses burning on my lawn, for sure.
Because the thing is, in Sweden, you complain, it's sort of like you giving the union money, you pay tax to the government. But in America, it's private corporations. You're literally giving the money to shareholders.
Well, no, it's
your
the mafia.
medical insurance and all of that sort of thing. I mean, can you imagine?
No, I couldn't live in a society like that.
No, I couldn't. I just couldn't do
Although,
it.
having said that, I mean, we pretty much pay for healthcare here, even though it's supposed to be free. And
Yeah, but
England is going the same way.
Yeah, but to be honest, if you're able to, you pay. What do we pay? Is it a tenner?
Private health.
No, we pay 15 quid every time we go to the doctor.
Oh, you
It's
haven't been for a
150
while.
kroner.
It's 300 crowns here.
No, that depends what you go for.
No, every appointment you have now is 300 crowns.
Not for the same thing.
Yes.
Really?
Every time you go to the doctor. And do you know what? Those cheeky motherfuckers, they phoned Ivana, my Serbian princess. They phoned her up once after she'd been to the doctor. And the doctor said, look, I'm just checking up. How you feeling? She said, oh, I'm okay, blah, blah, blah.
And they charge
got
for
a
that?
fucking factura for 150 crowns.
Really? Oh.
For a digital appointment.
Oh.
I said a digital appointment in my day meant a good fingering. And I would not have paid 150 crowns for that.
I would still prefer to pay, in my mind, what little we do, and be able to get a doctor's appointment within a few days. I mean, admittedly, I live in Mora and not Stockholm. I don't know what it's like in Stockholm. I think you'll find that
even you are now at probably 250 crowns.
Really?
Yeah. It's a long time since you had an appointment, clearly.
I think it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, ours went up to 300 from 200 on the 1st of January.
All right. Okay.
And my first appointment was on the 3rd.
And welcome.
Then they got me 3 times in 1 month. They basically took 1,000 crowns off me in January.
But, of course, we should add, just for the benefit of the listeners, there is a cap. You can only pay 250 quid a year.
I don't know how much the cap is, but I have reached it.
Yeah.
But it resets next month. So what's the point of that?
What? It resets in
every year.
I
realise that. It goes from your first appointment, 12 months. And the first time you go to a doctor, it goes for 12 months. And then if that lapses, then the next appointment you have, it goes for 12 months from that date.
Okay.
So it can be any time during the year.
All right. Well, that's actually to your advantage, isn't it?
No,
in that case?
It's not, because on April the 18th or whatever, it resets. So then I have to start paying. And so far, I haven't had a free appointment.
Oh, I see. That was well. You've just got to get your illnesses timed better.
I'm trying to kill myself
slowly.
I mean, after I dropped Teresa off yesterday, I got a message from Robin inviting me to a little party at his house.
Yes,
with his girlfriend and Fat Eric. So Eric came and picked me up, or his mum picked me up. He went to Robin's. Yeah, he lives with his mum. There's Eric.
How old is this fellow?
31, 32.
How old is his mother?
Probably my age.
Well, there you go. There you go, Andy. It can't be a coincidence. He sends his mum to pick you up to go to a party.
he was in the car as well. She was in the car. No, she was just dropping us off. She was designated driver. I think, and I can't be 100% sure, but I think she picked us up and drove us home.
What, you were in that bad state? You can't remember who drove?
I haven't been that drunk for a long time. But Eric did a bottle of rum before he actually arrived. And he bought a bottle of rum with him, which he polished off, and he wouldn't share. I said, I wouldn't mind a rum and coke. He said, you can have me vodka.
So did you hit anybody?
No, don't be ridiculous.
Well, you know, you do get a bit punchy when
That's actually a question that I should really send Robin a message saying, do I need to apologise
to anybody? Oh dear.
No, we were doing we were singing, drinking songs and doing shots.
Oh, excellent.
It was quite an entertaining evening, actually.
In Swedish, I assume, if they're drinking songs.
Well, the Swedish ones were rubbish. It was like I can't remember how it went in Swedish, but it translated to something like, I'm a bumblebee. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Exactly, yeah. And you and you spray the vodka up into the air. That's right.
Oh,
yeah.
That's wasteful. Anyway, I did some proper English drinking songs.
What's an English drinking song?
They're actually too blue for even this podcast.
Oh, are they? Hang on a second. It's right. It's just a... Hi. Can I call you back? I'm just podcasting.
She might be giving birth.
Yes. All right.
For God's sake, man. Was that Izzy going, Dad?
No, it was Silva.
Oh, okay. But she knows better than to call you at this time.
No, but she knows. She's probably surprised I'm actually wasting my time with you when I could just be sitting here waiting and worrying by myself.
Anyway, look, we've been prattling on for like half an hour. That's way too long.
I know, we've got to get Caesar and Brutus. What's strange about Caesar?
Nothing really. I was actually looking, because remember we did an episode about assassins a while ago.
Yeah, specific assassins. Weren't they Japanese or something?
No, they were
Persian.
Indian. Or Persian.
Indian.
Indian, yeah. Persian. It was Indian, yes. I think.
Yeah.
And I was looking at more assassinations simply because, I mean, I didn't have anything to go on really for this week because I just didn't look. But obviously with Trump, we're sitting here wondering why no one has actually succeeded in topping him and his bitch Musk at the same time.
And that is because?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they're prime targets. I mean, even for their own Secret Service.
What was amazing, I mean, you know how I think about Trump, but what was amazing was beyond the level of incompetence of his security people who allowed that fellow to take a shot at him from the roof. You almost have to think, I mean, and amazingly, I'm about to say this, I actually sort of 10% think that there's some conspiracy that would have allowed him, you know, the Secret Service actually thought, yeah, okay, we'll get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean,
he was on a roof with a gun in his hand, and his personal guard didn't do shit.
Yeah,
there were literally people pointing. There's a guy on the roof with a gun. Oh yeah, man, thanks.
Yeah, but look at him. He's like 16. He looks like he's just got off his computer.
Yeah, exactly.
He might be a bit deadly in Dota.
You're right. Oh. Anyway,
I mean,
so sorry, what's that got to do with Caesar? He was the worst
looking assassin ever.
I don't remember seeing a picture of him.
Oh, he just looked like fucking Harry Potter. He was literally a proper nerdy, spotty geek.
Was he an incel?
Oh, see, I don't like that word incel. Because,
of course you don't, because you're one of them.
See, I'm not at all. An incel is a misogynist. I'm not a misogynist. I love women.
That's a good point, actually. Most people associate incels with misogyny, and in fact, is that inferred in the name? Because isn't it...
They hate women because they won't let them shag them.
Yeah, you're right, actually. It should be a more specific... but because the incel actually relates only to the shagging,
Yeah.
whereas the implication is, as you say, they are misogynist. No, I mean, you have your moments, but I wouldn't actually call you a misogynist.
I love women.
Anyway, sorry, what we were talking about Caesar, and then suddenly you started talking about Trump.
Yeah, it's the assassination thing. Because Caesar obviously was assassinated.
Yeah, but it wasn't your normal run-of-the-mill assassination, was it? He was in the middle of a packed room and they all jumped in.
Well, the thing is
12
with
of them did.
Caesar, he was, as I say, he was a bit of a nasty person. When it came to barbarian hordes, he would commit atrocities on everybody. But when it came to his Roman enemies, he always showed mercy, which was a bad move because that meant at the end of the day, he had more enemies in the Senate in Rome than he had friends. So it was easy. He sort of caused his own assassination because he showed clemency to his Roman enemies.
Did he?
And Brutus, in fact, was a former enemy that he had forgiven and taken to his bosom, loved and trusted as a close friend.
That's right. Did he inherit the crown?
No, he took it.
Caesar took it, did he?
Yeah, I mean, basically, he will get to it. From my school days, I think, et tu, Brute, translates to you too, Brutus, which meant like you are one of my enemies too. After all we've been through, after I did this for you and forgave you.
Yeah,
but but political assassinations in Caesar's time were already very common.
Yes, carry on. Sorry, yeah. No,
I thought you were just going to say something.
No, I was going to say how many. No, but yeah.
Oh, well, I can tell you.
Oh, can you? All right, go on then. In 100 years, 30 of them were assassinated.
Oh, I mean, even in recent times, like even just in America, you've got Abraham Lincoln, Robert Kennedy, his brother John, Martin Luther King, and even Ronald Reagan.
Attempted.
Yes. But they're very common outside the US, obviously. So, mostly, staying with America, state-sponsored assassinations are very common, and apparently that's okay. You're allowed, if you're a state, to kill people.
I'm absolutely convinced it's going to become more common, but you're talking about state-sponsored assassinations outside of the US by the US.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Russia is very big on it, with their poisonings, plane crashes, and shootings, and balcony falls. They like a good balcony, Russians. I
wonder how many people Putin has assassinated in London. It's quite a few.
Lots. I think it's almost a daily occurrence.
I was going to say, I think it's into not daily occurrence, but I think it's into double digits. The number of people that have fallen off balconies, or what were those? What were the Skripals? Skripals, the Russian defector, and his daughter.
Oh, they got the Novichok.
Were poisoned by those by those two guys who said they were in Canterbury to go and visit the cathedral.
Yeah, we are looking at the cathedral, isn't it? We are very religious guys, even though we are built like brick shit houses.
I mean, two members of the KGB or whatever the hell it's called arrive in England
to go and visit a monastery.
What are you doing in the UK, Mr. Russian spy? Oh, we have come to see.
Very pretty. Yes. Look at the architecture on that one. I can't do Russian accent, unfortunately.
No, nor can I.
And
that they're the well publicized ones where it was obvious what they were doing. And the number of Russian businessmen that have fallen off balconies in London.
Oh, no, it's incredible. They're so stupid. I mean, they can run a business, but can they stand on a balcony? Clearly not.
No, exactly. Oh, dear.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
He hasn't killed anybody.
No, but he accused India. of ordering a hit on a Sikh separatist in Canada.
Is that right?
Yeah. You remember the journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was assassinated inside the Saudi embassy in
That's
Istanbul
right. That was
last year?
horrible because the Washington Post journalist who was chopped into pieces to
Yeah.
remove his body.
That's right. That's the guy. The US has repeatedly used what they call extrajudicial targeted killings against high-profile targets, such as, and I don't want to say Osama bin Laden because it never happened.
What? What do you mean?
It never happened.
Never happened.
The alleged assassination of Osama bin Laden. It was just smoke and mirrors. It never happened.
That was the one in the Obama period, wasn't it?
Wasn't
Obama president?
It might be.
What do you mean it didn't happen? What, he didn't die? He didn't die?
They never did it. I mean, it was just such bullshit. They were chasing him for years, and eventually they said, "Oh, we got him, but there's no photos, and we buried his body at sea 10 minutes later because that's the way you've got to do it in these countries."
Is that what happened?
No evidence whatsoever of anyone killing anybody. And that's bullshit because you would not pass up that kind of PR. You would not. I don't care who you are.
I don't remember that side of the story. I remember who was that Iraq fellow? Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein. He was chopped to pieces by his own people.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
On the streets. And they ripped him apart, basically. There was actually video of it.
No, he didn't. They found him in a hole and shot him, and there was video of it.
I remember a guy holding up his golden guns.
They ripped his mansion apart. That I remember, but I thought he just died in a hole somewhere.
Well, I think he got. I seem to remember it differently. I'm not going to argue it because you might be right, but I seem to remember that he was torn apart on the streets.
Might be right. But anyway, you're right. I do remember, and I'm pretty sure it was Obama who was president when Osama bin Laden did or didn't. What, you think he's still alive?
Yeah, I'm sort of 100% certain. He might be dead now by other means, but certainly the Americans didn't go and do their world police bit and fucking burst in and find him.
I think he was educated in England.
He was. Most of his family were. It's a big family.
And who was the other one who was educated in England? That other nasty one, Assad from Syria.
All of them. All the dictators.
He went to
they all
university.
Went to Oxford.
And he became a pharmacist. That's
what
he was.
You've only got a choice between stand-up comedian or dictator. That's your options when you leave Oxford. Fucking wankers.
Stand-up comedian. You mean like Rees-Mogg is a stand-up comedian? Exactly.
Oh yeah, politician, which is also a comedian these days.
Yes, I'm sure there's quite a lot going on. Was his name Khashoggi? Yes, you're right. It was
Adnan Khashoggi. Yeah.
And sorry, which he was in the Saudi embassy?
Yes, in Istanbul.
In Turkey.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, Adnan Khashoggi is another dictator, but his name was Khashoggi. Jamal Khashoggi.
No, it wasn't Jamal.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna have to
Who was
scroll up now.
Working for the for the Washington Post.
He was working for the Washington Post. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it was Jamal Khashoggi.
Jamal Khashoggi. All right. Because I think he was married to an English woman, actually. Anyway, whatever. So there's another one.
In the heyday of Europe's most powerful monarchies, which was prior to the 20th century, obviously, lots of revolutionary groups used assassinations to make it clear to the people that for all of their power, the rulers were mortal too. And according to several historians, revolutionaries tried to kill nearly every major European ruler and head of state in the late 1800s. For example,
the late 1800s?
Yeah.
What?
I can give you Tsar Alexander II, who was featured in our Rasputin quadruplege. We
Marie
did our 4
Antoinette.
episodes on Rasputin, Tsar Alexander. He was murdered by the Russian revolutionary group People's Will, along with his family, including Anastasia, regardless of what people think. And their Italian comrades successfully killed Empress Elizabeth of the Austro-Hungarian Empire in 1898. World War I was caused by the assassination of Habsburg
Albert.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Franz Ferdinand in Austria.
By a Serbian. I don't know if anyone knows this, or if many people know this, but it was a Serbian assassin who caused World War I. So thanks, Serbia.
Wasn't he? He was an Austrian prince, or he was assassinated in Austrian?
He was Austrian.
Hmm.
And it was an unexpected outcome, World War I. No one expected, because he was a minor noble at the end of the day.
And so why did that spark World War One?
I don't know.
I don't know
the details, but I don't pretend to be a historian.
It's not really a detail, is it? What started World War One?
It's a bit more if we were doing an episode on World War One, I would have looked into it and found out why people were having a Barney. But it's not part of this episode.
All right, here's a question for you. When was the last time an English monarch or prime minister was assassinated?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. I don't think there has been for a long time. I don't think an English prime minister has ever been assassinated. MPs have been assassinated, but not the prime minister.
No. Certainly not a serving one.
When was a king last assassinated in England? I suppose you have to go back that. Yeah, if you go back to sort of pre-Henry VIII.
Yeah, I would say it would be early to Middle Ages.
Yeah.
When they assassinated each other on a daily basis, because it was the kingdom was divided into 13 different kingdoms.
You know what happened in Stockholm in Stortorget, Big Square?
Was that the assassination of
everybody? All of the Swedish aristocracy.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Yeah. All of the Swedish aristocracy were invited to a party by the Danes.
See, that would raise a flag for me. Especially by the Danes.
That's literally what happened. They were all invited to a party, and the Danes actually assassinated them all. What are you doing?
Oh, so I got a message about parking fees.
Oh, good. That's
Apparently,
important.
I didn't park enough, so they're not going to debit me this month.
All right. Yeah, that was one of the biggest European assassinations ever.
If you're at war with the Danes and they suddenly invite you to a party, did you not watch Game of Thrones? Did you not see the Red Wedding? Everybody come to this party.
Was that the Red Wedding? Who was that? That ugly fellow with all his very young girlfriends?
Yes. When he murdered everybody.
Did he? He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Not Jon Snow.
He was away defending against the White Walkers.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to give you a date. Carry on.
Ah, well, thank you. Yeah. So also 1919 in Berlin, right-wing paramilitaries murdered the socialists Rosa Luxemburg and Karl Liebknecht. And before Italy slipped into their fascist dictatorship, Benito Mussolini, the prominent socialist Giacomo Matteotti was assassinated by Mussolini's goons in Rome. During the Second World War, resistance groups also used assassination techniques against the Nazis. Heydrich, the SS chief who played a key role in carrying out the Holocaust, as they all did, was assassinated in Prague in 1942, and it's still celebrated on a yearly basis in the Czech Republic.
All right. This was 1520. It's a bit long ago.
All right. In Germany, the Red Army faction, more recently, and you will be pretty hard hit by this, they began to embrace the tactic of assassination, and they assassinated leading bankers, industrialists, politicians, and others from the 1970s to the 1990s.
Who was the group who did that?
The ultra left revolutionary vanguardist groups, such as the Red Army and the Red Brigade. The Red Brigade, I can't even say it. The Red Brigade also murdered the Prime Minister Aldo Moro in 1978, Prime Minister of Italy.
I'm sure there have been a good few assassinations in the Catholic Church.
Oh, God, that was the only way to get promoted.
Have you seen the conclave?
You've only got certain amount of bishops and archbishops. Yeah. So to get that job, someone has to die.
That fellow Francis, he's hanging in there. He's not dead yet.
No, I know, but he might as well be.
I mean, you know, he got to the point of not being able to breathe and all sorts. He's 88 and he's still hanging on there.
That's what I mean. Someone's got to die. The Catholic Church is probably the only place left where you've got a job for life.
Unless you're Ratzinger, of course.
Yeah.
Where you were allowed to retire.
Yeah, and it was actually a woman, Sarah Jane Moore, who sought to spark a revolution when she attempted to assassinate President Gerald Ford in 1975, which was just 2 weeks after Manson family member Lynette Fromm had tried to do the same thing. So Ford had 2 assassination attempts in 2 weeks.
What, did they actually, someone fire a shot?
I don't know how
he
they
wasn't
attempted
actually
it.
shot, was he, Ford? Reagan was. He got a bullet inside him.
Live on TV.
Was he?
Yeah, I saw it.
I don't remember.
I might not have seen it live, but I saw it on the news, definitely.
Oh.
They showed it.
Mm.
Just a few months after India gained independence from Britain, Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated by a Hindu extremist who felt that Gandhi was promoting Muslim-Hindu unity. We can't have that.
No, we don't want happiness and peace between tribes, do we?
And it didn't stop there. Indira Gandhi,
the daughter,
who took over, she was killed by her own Sikh bodyguards after she ordered military action against Sikh separatists.
That wasn't that long ago.
No, that would be 1984.
I was going to say, I was certainly around when that happened.
And her son, who also became a prime minister, he was assassinated while electioneering by a Tamil Tiger suicide bomber after relations between the separatist movement and the Indian government soured. I mean, it seems like a lost cause. It's a bit like the Gaza Strip. It's never going to be solved. In 2007, in Pakistan, neighbours, Benazir Bhutto survived an assassination attempt, which incidentally, it was a bombing. It took 180 other people.
But not him.
But
he was in a bomb-proof car or something.
I don't know how he managed it, but he did get caught in the next bomb. They obviously didn't like him.
Oh, what do you mean? He did ultimately get assassinated by a bomb?
He was blown up eventually. And the reasons for that assassination are murky. I mean...
Aren't all assassination reasons murky?
No. Some of them you think, thank fuck for that.
Oh, I see. Well, it's like what you were saying the other day.
And actually, Benazir Bhutto was a woman, not a man.
Yes, you're right, actually.
It's just want to clear that up.
I wonder what people will feel when Musk meets his maker.
Oh, there will be celebrations and there will also be commiserations, because some people actually believe Musk's own publicity. If you look at some of the comments on the fucking propaganda posts that are going up on Facebook, etc., there are people who actually believe that America is becoming great again. They think he's doing a fantastic job. They think
Even
Trump's
though
doing a fantastic job.
they themselves are losing their jobs.
Doesn't matter.
And
as long as they think Canada is being screwed, the ungrateful fucking Canucks,
yes, exactly,
then they're happy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable the way they're like turkeys voting for Christmas.
Literally. They are like turkeys voting for Christmas. I think I was reading that the tax break for billionaires is going to be extended for another 5 years. It's going to cost $4.3 trillion to the American taxpayer. And they're worried about, sending 40 condoms to Hamas.
You can't tax the rich. How would they stay rich, for God's sake?
No, that is literally, you've hit the nail. How would they stay rich?
If they had to pay their way, how could they possibly finance their jets and cocaine and hookers?
Aren't you surprised doing a thing on, like we're doing this thing on assassination, and I'm not promoting the idea, but aren't you surprised that more people aren't assassinated?
I think there's probably a lot more assassinations than we know of.
Do you think? I mean, just think of the publicity that insurance bloke got.
Yeah, I know, but look at the guy who did it was an amateur.
No, but he's succeeded.
Yes, he succeeded, but he's going to pay for it. I think there's a lot of unexplained deaths that are probably assassinations.
But, just think of the thousands of people that get screwed over by health insurance and they have to watch their children or their parents die of completely curable diseases
because they can't afford the medication.
And wouldn't that drive you to assassinate a few people?
It's another reason that I wouldn't like to live in America, because I would end up being somebody's bitch in a prison and eating cock meat sandwiches for the rest of my life.
Oh, God.
A face like this, you can't afford to be locked up in a prison. I would be way too popular.
You're too pretty,
I'm way too pretty. Fucking hell. I would be bitch number one. There would be fights in the yard over my favours. Oh dear. Anwar Sadat of Egypt had been assassinated, and Yitzhak Rabin, also
Israel,
of Israel, was assassinated by a right-wing ultra-Zionist in 1995. And the reason for these assassinations was attempting to move towards a peace agreement between Israel and the Palestinians, and we can't have that. Who would finance all those weapons? Fucking monsters, a lot of them.
I've said it before. You realise what the actual solution of the Israel-Palestine conflict is?
Let Donald turn it into the Caribbean of the Middle East. Open a golf course there and just move all those pesky Palestinians into Turkey, wherever. Saudi.
I mean, yeah.
Honestly, there is no solution.
Of course there is. It's just that it doesn't serve anybody's... as far as the people are concerned, all you need to do is take down the walls. There's no differentiation between Palestine and Israel. No guards, no walls, no barriers. Everybody lives together. And then there'd be no need for people like Hamas. There'd be no need for idiots like Netanyahu.
Well,
what happened when East Germany pulled the wall down? What happened is just people lived peacefully again.
Well, after they got over the shock of the magic television and the telling bone.
Telephone? Isn't it? It's literally that obvious.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
pull the barriers down, just live together. Everybody live together.
Well, the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin was probably the most successful assassination in history because
What do
the
you mean?
war
It's
is
pretty binary. Either
it's
you
no,
survive
but I
or you
mean
die.
the reasoning behind it and the consequences are still being felt today because there is still no peace in the Middle East.
Yeah, yeah.
Africa as well. Possibly 185 assassinations between 2019 and 2020 alone, mostly politicians, civil society and community leaders, and of course, journalists. They don't like the truth.
Sorry, how many since when?
185 in a year between 2019 and 2020.
Oh my God.
But I mean, in Africa, about 80% of assassinations are politically motivated. I don't know what else there is. I mean, do you assassinate people for love?
Actually, sorry, you have to really. What is an assassination as opposed to a murder?
It's when you take out a target for a specific reason, which is not personal motivation.
Ideology, sort of
It's
thing.
ideology, theology,
Religion.
whatever. It's just not a personal motivation. So if I was to kill you simply because you annoy me, that's murder. But if I was to murder you because I wanted to take your place on the Solaron Council as treasurer,
Yes, that's
then
good.
that
Good
would be
point,
an assassination.
actually, yeah. That would be an assassination. So, well, obviously, that by definition means you have to be someone of standing.
Yeah.
You have to be a politician or a
Or-
local leader or something.
Or you have to be a potential future threat. If
Yeah.
somebody can foresee that where you're headed is not advantageous to them, they can remove you before you even get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
South America or Latin America with the
Yeah, but I mean that must run into the thousands.
yeah, but that's mostly because of drug cartels.
Yeah.
Presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio.
Never heard of him.
No, you never will, because he was assassinated. He was standing on a ticket of anti-corruption. You're not going to get very far in South America with anti-corruption.
You've been to South America, haven't you?
I've been to Mexico.
So when you're in Mexico and you're walking around Mexico City,
I didn't go to Mexico City. I was in Puerto Vallarta, which is a bit posh.
a bit more posh.
Yeah, that's where Elizabeth Taylor used to have a house. And
I'm
Al
wondering-
Capone, funnily enough.
Al Capone had a house there.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if somewhere like Mexico City, which I think is the most dangerous city in the world to live.
Anywhere in Mexico is possibly dangerous. I told you we were looking for some specific things, and we got the DJ in our hotel to take us to meet some guys, and he drove us out into the rainforest, and and he was completely stoned the whole time, this guy. His name was Antonio, and he drove us out into the rainforest at night, and we were couple of hours driving, and we ended up parked outside this wooden fucking shack that had horses tied up outside and rifles leaning against the wall. It was straight out of the fucking Wild West. And we went inside, and it was like a bar, and it was just blokes with mustaches.
And you.
And us. I'll tell you what, one of the best nights I've ever had. It was fucking so funny. We ordered beers, and I think when we were there was 10 pesos to $1. Right? And beers were 1 peso a bottle. Right? So we sat there drinking our beers, and I said to Antonio, Antonio, it's a bit like a fucking gay bar in here, mate. I said, where's all the ladies at? He goes, just hang on, Andy. The ladies will be here soon. And suddenly, all the lights went down, the music came on, and out came the ladies. And it turned into a fucking lap dancing bar.
Yeah.
It did. And like these girls were just coming over and dancing at the table, and you gave them a peso. It was like, and Antonio leant over and said, for 10 pesos, you can get a private dance. And I was like, I looked around the bar and I went, I ain't following these guys. But we had such a good night in there. They were really friendly. They were obviously bandits. I mean, these were the guys who were robbing tourists. Because I think I might not have told you, but I booked up at the hotel to go on a horse trek in the rainforest. But it was cancelled because the tour before us got held up by these bandidos. And I'm sure it was the same guys. They got held up and robbed in the rainforest by these bandidos. Fucking great experience.
So you were nearly.
No, but I mean, that's the real Mexico, you know. If you just stay in your compound, you're not going to see shit.
No, well, that's what I was actually going to say. Whether people's day-to-day lives are actually, does the vast majority of people living in Mexico City know they're living in the most dangerous city in the world?
It's just natural for them. It's normal. Talking of normal, it's not normal, but I saw some nonsense story about fucking Musk is sending one of his robots up in a rocket to Mars.
Next week.
Motherfucker, land on the moon first if you want to impress me. Don't pretend you're sending a fucking robot to walk around on Mars, you lying motherfucker.
Did you hear about that poor Indian landing on the moon?
There is no... What?
And they were 800 meters off the target in a particularly rocky area. And all I can picture is, the robot in Star Wars, R2-D2?
Yeah.
And apparently this poor thing just fell on its side because it landed on a rock or something. And he was just sort of lying on its side with his little legs trying to stand up.
I would imagine that, I mean, it's obviously not true. But, I mean, if it did happen, you'd imagine that there is an Indian chap with a certain assassination ticket taken out on him right now.
Could be. Amazingly, talking about that, I saw a little clip of, I think it was Buzz Aldrin, who took a swipe at one of people like you who denied that he ever went to the moon. Well, and this fellow was so persistently irritating that he turned around and
he did. He punched him. I mean, I would have sued the arse off him. I would have got his moon dollars. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes an attempted assassination can be a beneficial thing. I mean, look at Trump. As soon as someone took a shot at him, he was guaranteed to be the next president.
Yeah, but how do you see that as a good thing, Andy?
No, I don't. I'm just saying it's Trump. A good thing for him. And it also happened in Brazil, where a presidential candidate was stabbed during a rally, and it helped him win the 2018 election. A chap called Jair Bolsonaro.
Lucky fellow.
In Japan?
No.
Shinzo?
No.
What?
Japan, they don't assassinate people.
Shinzo Abe. I don't know how he would pronounce it.
Yes,
Abe, yeah. He was assassinated just 2 years ago.
That's right, he was.
By a lone gunman who had a grudge against a church that he believed that the ex-prime minister had supported. So anyone could be a target. In Germany, conservative politician Walter Lübcke was murdered in 2019 by a right-wing extremist who was opposed to his pro-migration policies. Left it a bit late. Germany is ruined now. And also, of course, our own Joe Cox.
There was another one. We've had 2 MPs assassinated. Joe Cox was one, and then there was another one.
Sir?
Yeah. A bloke in his...
Oh, that's right. Didn't he get chased around his desk or something?
Yeah, it was.
Can't remember his name.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, we
And
could be
of course,
targets just because of we speak the truth.
I mean, you say that. You can imagine if the trend continues in the same way in the States, it's not going to be long before there are assassinations of political rivals.
I mean, I don't want to promote assassination, but if anyone out there is thinking of Trump and Musk, you have my full blessing.
Oh,
hang on.
I mean,
There's a couple of black sedans just pulled up outside.
Yeah, black sedan, black Escalades. Oh dear. No, but it's it just wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's going so bad so fast that it's not going to be too long before it's completely lawless in America.
I mean, it's already lawless. Even in England now, whenever I look at the news, there's always a teenager has killed another teenager with a knife. It's always, every day, stabbing in a school, stabbing outside a school, stabbing at the supermarket, stabbing stabbing there.
Yeah, but that is all drug related, Andy. You have to accept that.
Not necessarily. Yeah,
it's
but
just turf
they're
wars.
14 and 15 years old. It used to be grown-ups chasing each other with knives.
No, but
now it's like children.
Yeah, but you know that they use the children because they know that they're going to get a lesser term of imprisonment. So if you can employ a 14-year-old to sell you drugs, you do it.
I've read a couple of stories as well with like groups of kids, 12 and 13, kicking to death an old age pensioner in the park.
Yeah, well, that wasn't necessarily drug law. That's just
that's just
craziness.
For kicks.
Yeah,
it's like there's just I don't know. It's just the human race has given up.
It has in certain places, and then I'll tell you what, though. Obviously, a lot of all of this negativeness is driven by the media, but I'll tell you what, I follow occasionally. There's a Dutch girl, who is...
I followed a Dutch girl. Then she called the police on me.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, Norley, her name is, and she, on a motorbike, she's done tours around the world, and she motorbikes through places like, she's just come through the Middle East, Iran, Iraq, all of these places. She's in Saudi, and she's done South America.
Hang on, I'm just getting the beep beep, but my battery's going to go dead. I have to change it. Give me a second.
What? A beep beep battery? What? God dear. Anyway, so this girl, and all I'm saying is, as a complete contrast.
Waiting for it to kick in. There it is. I'm here.
She goes through some of the most dangerous places in the world, and all she ever finds are people who help her. She's broken down in the middle of a desert, and suddenly, one of them, literally a pickup with two blokes, show up, and they're two doctors, and they take care of the motorbike. They take her to hospital because she'd actually broken her collarbone. And it's just like she's been going for years now.
Yeah, I mean...
And I don't remember a single time where she might have felt threatened, but nothing has ever happened to that girl. And she has been all over the world on her motorbike.
Is she particularly unattractive?
Don't be ridiculous. No, I mean, in contrast to what we, always think of, that everywhere is so dangerous and ugly.
As men, the first thing we do when we see a woman in trouble is think potential rape. Funnily
enough, I don't think that, Andy.
Well, clearly most men do, because that's what would normally happen. In the real world.
No. That's exactly why I'm saying that's not actually what happens. I know, in the real world.
Being facetious, but I'd like to think that in times of need, people would be more helpful than not.
It seems so, but the unfortunate thing is when the ugliness takes over, people think that is the normal thing.
Yeah, because it's reported, whereas the good deeds are never reported.
Do you know what we were talking about Trump, and as I say, it's endless, the number of shocking things he did. You know, what's that cemetery where all the war people are buried in America? Arlington, is it?
Arlington.
Arlington.
Yes.
Do you know what Trump did the other day as an executive order?
I would imagine he pissed on the fucking crosses.
He literally removed the references to all black. Was it just women? No, it was black soldiers and black women were removed from the website search engine on the basis of diversity, integration, all that bollocks being cancelled. These people have given their lives to fight for. What's that got to do with they're dead? How can that be something to do with diversity? They died for the country. So why is Trump removing their names from the Arlington Cemetery website?
Because he's good at erasing history.
No, but this
basically
is
what he wants to do.
No, it's literally. It's you can't get more Orwellian. What was his job? Newspeak. He literally had to track down all of the historical evidence to when the story had changed, and that's literally what Trump is doing, as if black people didn't actually die in World War II fighting for America.
They murdered Franz Ferdinand.
No, but that's what's going to happen in 6 months' time. It's going to be black people that caused World War II.
Oh, or Mexicans.
Or Mexicans. But, you know, it's happening in real time in front of our eyes.
And talking of real time, we didn't even get to Julius Caesar.
Well, we started with Julius Caesar.
No. Well, I was going to give you a history of Julius Caesar.
Of what happened. Well, you shouldn't talk so much.
But I think we sort of, I think we might have even made a fairly interesting episode. Well, it was interesting to me anyway.
Yeah.
Let's hope it was interesting to both of our listeners.
Well, you and me.
Which is you and maybe one other.
But you're right. What is incredible is the number of assassinations that have actually happened in recent times. And you're right, that are. But you see, the thing is, I don't think that was classed as an assassination. That was some lunatic. That would have been
classed as a murder, I think. But
yeah, I think he murdered him.
I mean, potato.
Oh.
He died.
He died.
And he died because someone disagreed with his belief in a certain institution. So it kind of is an assassination.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Anyway, well done.
I mean, if you remember our Abraham Lincoln episode, he actually foresaw his own assassination. He had a dream 3 nights in a row, and he told his wife that he was going to be elected for a second term, but he would be assassinated before the end of it. And he told his bodyguard on the night that he didn't feel comfortable going to the theatre, and the bodyguard said, well, we should not go if you've got a bad feeling. And he said, nope, I cannot let my wife down. She's looking
so it was his wife's fault that he got
basically
eliminated.
But you wouldn't tell her that. Not at the time. You'd say it behind her back, like, it's her fault. Fucking bitch.
All right.
But anyway, we're going to have to wrap it up. We might do Julius
we are.
Caesar.
It's 1 hour 15 minutes of not Julius Caesar's assassination.
We might do Julius Caesar next week, which would save me having to think up new titles.
That must take you 10 minutes.
I tell you, it's actually quite hard work to think of a new one every week.
Caesar Brutus.
But I hope you enjoyed this off-the-wall chat. Learned a few things about assassination, and hopefully we've inspired a few people. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. At least if it happens this week, I'd like to think that we had something to do with it.
Isn't that literally illegal?
Yes. Yeah, but I mean,
isn't that what's it called?
It's incitement.
Incitement to violence. That's literally what you're doing. No, I'm not. I never said those words.
I didn't even say that.
Yes, you
Prove
did.
it.
You've got it recorded. It's part.
It says quite clearly this is for light entertainment purposes only.
Very light. How light can you get?
Mm.
Oh dear.
So anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We couldn't do this without you, and I just wish there was more of you because we have lots to say, and as you can tell, it's all important stuff. So keep
when
listening.
we're not arguing.
Have yourselves a strange week. Okay, don't go out and assassinate anyone, particularly anyone we've mentioned in this episode, because that could come back and bite my unemployed ass.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, have yourselves a strange week. Don't do anything that we wouldn't do, and we'll see you same time next week. Oh, don't forget, you can still catch us on Patreon with some free episodes, quite a few.
Oh, yes.
And some that you can buy us a beer and listen to. So do that.
Very good. Very good.
Especially now I'm unemployed. For fuck's sake, do that. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Cheerio.